Hello, welcome to the CEO DG and La YouTube channel. Current Affairs Mega Series MCQs 25 Question and Answers of 2020 edition. This is highly useful for SSC, Railways, RBI, SBI, IBPS, Nabard, and all competitive exams. First one. Who has been appointed as India's permanent representative to the United Nations? The options are A. Deepak Mittal, B. Piyush Srivastava, C. T.S. Tirumurti, D. Jaideep Mazumdar. Second one. Which Indian shuttler has been named as the ambassador of BWF's I Am Badminton campaign? The options are A. Saina Nehwal, B. Shrikant Kidambi, C. Parupalli Kashyap, D. PV Sindhu. First one. Who has been appointed as India's permanent representative to the United Nations? The answer is C. T.S. Tirumurti. T.S. Tirumurti, appointed as India's next ambassador or permanent representative to the United Nations on April 29, 2020. Tirumurti is a 1985 batch IFS officer. He will be succeeding Syed Akbaruddin, who is due to retire shortly. Second one. Which Indian shuttler has been named as the ambassador of BWF's I Am Badminton campaign? The answer is D. PV Sindhu. World champion PV Sindhu was on April 22, 2020 named as the ambassador of Badminton World Federation's I Am Badminton campaign. The campaign was launched to advocate for honest and clean play. Other ambassadors of the campaign include Valeska Noblauch of Germany, Xingxi Wei and Huang Ya Oingo of China, Chan Ho Yun of Hong Kong, and Michelle Lee of Canada. Third one. Which state has imposed a COVID-19 cess on diesel and petrol? The options are A. Madhya Pradesh, B. Nagaland, C. Maharashtra, D. Meghalaya. Fourth one. When was the world's first human space flight launched? The options are A. April 12, 1961, B. April 13, 1959, C. April 12, 1969, D. April 11, 1960. Third one. Which state has imposed a COVID-19 cess on diesel and petrol? The answer is B. Nagaland. Nagaland has imposed a COVID-19 cess on diesel and petrol, becoming the first state to introduce such a tax in India. Nagaland has imposed a Rs 5 per litre COVID-19 cess on diesel and Rs 6 per litre cess on petrol and other such liquid fuel. Fourth one. When was the world's first human space flight launched? The answer is A. April 12, 1961. The world's first ever human space flight was launched on April 12, 1961. The International Day of Human Space Flight is observed to commemorate the day every year. Fifth one. Which nation has allowed visa extension for H1B visa holders? The options are A. UK, B. Germany, C. US, D. France. Sixth one. When was the English Language Day observed? The options are A. April 24th, B. April 22nd, C. April 23rd, D. April 21st. Fifth one. Which nation has allowed visa extension for H1B visa holders? The answer is C. US. The United States has decided to allow extension of H1B visas, bringing major relief to the Indians stranded in the nation due to coronavirus pandemic. The H1B visa is a non-immigrant visa under which US companies can employ foreign workers in specialty occupations which require theoretical or technical expertise. Sixth one. When was the English Language Day observed? The answer is C. April 23rd. The English Language Day is celebrated on April 23rd, 2020. English Language Day was established by UN's Department of Public Information in 2010. The day aims to celebrate multilingualism and cultural diversity. The date April 23 is traditionally observed as both the birthday and date of death of William Shakespeare. Seventh one. India will consider easing certain lockdown restrictions depending upon the situation after which date of 2020. The options are A. April 25th, B. April 20th, C. April 16th, D. April 30th. Eighth one. Which nation has stopped its funding to the World Health Organization WHO? The options are A. China, B. France, C. Italy, D. US. Seventh one. India will consider easing certain lockdown restrictions depending upon the situation after which date. The answer is B. April 20th. India will observe complete lockdown till May 3rd, 2020. Till April 20th, the government will be monitoring all districts, localities, police stations, states closely to see how strictly they are implementing norms, following which it may decide on lifting certain restrictions in areas that report no new COVID-19 case in 2020. Eighth one. Which nation has stopped its funding to the World Health Organization? The answer is D. US. The United States has halted its funding to the World Health Organization. US President Donald Trump on April 14, 2020 instructed his administration to halt the funding, stating that a review will be conducted to assess WHO's rule in severely mismanaging and covering up the spread of the coronavirus. Ninth one. Who has developed COVID sample collection kiosk? COVSACK. The options are A. Indian Railways, B. DRDO, C. ISRO, D. Reliance. 10th one. Which state has extended its curfew till May 17th? The options are A. Punjab, B. Madhya Pradesh, C. Delhi, D. Odisha. 9th one. Who has developed COVID-19 sample collection kiosk? COVSACK. The answer is B. DRDO. DRDO's Defense Research and Development Laboratory DRDL has developed COVID sample collection kiosk COVSACK. The kiosk will be useful for healthcare workers while taking the samples of infected COVID-19 patients. 10th one. Which state has extended its curfew till May 17th? The answer is A. Punjab. Punjab Chief Minister Amarinder Singh announced the extension of curfew in the state on April 29, 2020 for 2 more weeks till May 17, 2020. The state has allowed limited lifting of restrictions in non-containment zones between 7 to 11 am. 11th one. NASSCOM has appointed Praveen Rao as new chairman of the group. Rao is the chief operating officer of which among the following companies? The options are A. Infosys, B. Accenture, C. Wipro, D. Deloitte. 12th one. When was World Wildlife Day 2020 observed? The options are A. March 1st, B. March 2nd, C. March 3rd, D. February 29th. 11th one. NASSCOM has appointed Praveen Rao as new chairman of the group. Rao is the chief operating officer of which among the following companies? The answer is A. Infosys. The National Association of Software and Services Company, NASSCOM, has appointed Infosys COO Praveen Rao as its new chairman. Rao will succeed Keshav Murugesh, the group CEO of WNS Global Services. 12th one. When was World Wildlife Day 2020 observed? The answer is C. March 3rd. The World Wildlife Day 2020 was observed across the globe on March 3rd, 2020. The theme of the day of 2020 year is Sustaining All Life on Earth, which includes all animal and plant species and livelihoods of those living closest to nature. 13th. Which state has decided to launch a YouTube channel to encourage children to learn during the lockdown period? The options are A. Maharashtra, B. Karnataka, C. Kerala, D. Telangana. 14th. ICMR has drafted a proposal to explore which therapy to treat critical COVID-19 cases. The options are A. Plasma therapy, B. Eclectic therapy, C. Forensic therapy, D. Jungian therapy. 13th. Which state has decided to launch a YouTube channel to encourage children to learn during the lockdown period? The answer is B. Karnataka. Karnataka's Education Department has decided to launch a YouTube channel for children during the lockdown. The channel will aim to invoke passion for learning and creativity among children. 14th. ICMR has drafted a proposal to explore which therapy to treat critical COVID-19 cases. The answer is A. Plasma therapy. The Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, has finalized the protocol to conduct convalescent plasma therapy for the treatment of severely ill COVID-19 patients on April 10, 2020. 15th. Which nation lifted the temporary ban imposed on the export of essential drugs, hydroxychloroquine and paracetamol? The options are A. US, B. Japan, C. China, D. India. 16th. Which nation hosted Asian Boxing Championships 2020? The options are A. India, B. China, C. Malaysia, D. Japan. 15th. Which nation lifted the temporary ban imposed on the export of essential drugs, hydroxychloroquine and paracetamol? The answer is D. India. India has lifted the restriction imposed on the export of anti-malarial drug, hydroxychloroquine HCQ and paracetamol. India now allowed the export of these drugs in appropriate quantities to neighboring nations that are most affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. 16th. Which nation hosted Asian Boxing Championships 2020? The answer is A. India. India hosted the 2020 Asian Boxing Championships, which was held between November to December 2020. The former announcement was made by the Asian Boxing Federation once the COVID-19 situation improved a bit. 17th. NASA's Artemis Base Camp is expected to work as a gateway to landing humans on which planet? The options are A. Venus, B. Mars, C. Jupiter, D. Saturn. 18th. According to the Grid 2020 report, how many people were displaced in 2019? The options are A. 2 million, B. 5 million, C. 3 million, D. 4 million. 17th. NASA's Artemis base camp is expected to work as a gateway to landing humans on which planet? The answer is B. Mars. National Aeronautics and Space Administration (NASA) has been working on the Artemis program that aims at landing humans on the moon by 2024. The base camp is expected to successfully demonstrate the US long-established leadership in space and will serve as a gateway for humanity's first mission to Mars. 18th. According to the Grid 2020 report, how many people were displaced in 2019? The answer is B. 5 million. Over 5 million people faced displacements in India in 2019, which is the highest in the world as per the Global Report on Internal Displacement Grid 2020. The report was released by the Internal Displacement Monitoring Center. As per the report, 33.4 million people faced displacements in the world due to conflicts and disasters. 19th. USAID has announced how much additional grant to India to battle the COVID-19 pandemic. The options are A. $3 million, B. $2 million, C. $2.5 million, D. $3.5 million. 20th. Popular comedy actor Bullet Prakash passed away suddenly on April 6, 2020. He was associated with which film industry? The options are A. Telugu, B. Malayalam, C. Tamil, D. Kannada. 19th. USAID has announced how much additional grant to India to battle the COVID-19 pandemic. The answer is A. $3 million. The United States has announced an additional grant worth $3 million to help India combat the COVID-19 pandemic. The US aid agency USAID had announced a grant worth $2.9 million to India on April 6, 2020 to support its effort to contain the spread of novel coronavirus. 20th. Popular comedy actor Bullet Prakash passed away suddenly on April 6, 2020. He was associated with which film industry? The answer is D. Kannada. Popular Kannada comedy star Bullet Prakash passed away on April 6, 2020 at the age of 44 years. His early demise came as a shock to the entire industry. Prakash was a part of second season of Bigg Boss. 21st. When was the second G20 Finance Ministerial Meeting 2020 held? The options are A. April 14th, B. April 15th, C. April 16th, D. April 11th. 22nd. Which app has become the world's highest downloaded app in just 13 days? The options are A. Zoom, B. Big Basket, C. Sahyog, D. Arogya Setu. 21st. When was the second G20 Finance Ministerial Meeting 2020 held? The answer is B. April 15th. The second G20 Finance Ministerial Meeting was conducted on April 15th, 2020. The meeting was attended by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. The minister shared the policy measures being implemented by the Government of India and RBI during the meeting. 22nd. Which app has become the world's highest downloaded app in just 13 days? The answer is D. Arogya Setu. Arogya Setu has become the world's fastest app to reach 50 million users within just 13 days. The app sends out alerts even if the user comes in close proximity with the COVID-19 positive case, even unknowingly. 23rd, the center has deposited how much amount into the accounts of PMJDY account holders for the month of April. The options are A. Rupees 700, B. Rupees 500, C. Rupees 300, D. Rupees 400. 24th, when did Jallianwala Bagh massacre take place? The options are A. April 13th, 1919, B. April 11th, 1919, C. April 12th, 1919, D. April 12th, 1920. 23rd, the center has deposited how much amount into the accounts of PMJDY account holders for the month of April? The answer is B. Rupees 500. The Finance Minister announced on April 9, 2020 that it has deposited amount worth Rupees 500 in each Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana PMJDY account held by women for the month of April. The ministry also deposited Rupees 1000 over the next 2 months of May and June. 24th, when did Jallianwala Bagh massacre take place? The answer is A. April 13th, 1919. The Jallianwala Bagh massacre had taken place on April 13th, 1919 when General Dyer had ordered British troops to open fire on an unarmed crowd of people who had gathered at Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar to peacefully protest against the Rowlatt Act. 25th, the Ministry of Home Affairs issued an advisory calling which among the following apps as unsafe? The options are A. Zoom, B. TeamViewer, C. Skype, D. House Party. 25th, the Ministry of Home Affairs issued an advisory calling which among the following apps as unsafe? The answer is A. Zoom. The Union Home Ministry has issued an advisory stating that the Zoom video conferencing app is not safe for private persons and entities.
Dhanyavad. Thank you. If you like this video, do like, subscribe and share. See you in the next one. Bye bye.